Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into Trainer Talk Tuesday. We're coming here to you live and direct from Seminole, Florida, aka St. Petersburg. And we're having a great day so far, and we hope that you all are too. So, again, welcome into Trainer Talk Tuesday, and we want to kind of talk to you guys a little bit about our process and what it is that we believe when it comes to the approach to personal training from the trainer side of things. So again, welcome in. Hope your day is good and listen up to this good information.
Guys, here at Never Settle Fitness, we believe that your workouts should have purpose. We don't want you to be someone in the gym who is just wandering around aimlessly and there's really no plan behind what you are doing. There's no purpose. There's no end results. So we try to live by these 5 different steps of how we truly define what train with purpose actually means. So we're going to get right into it, guys. The way that we define train with purpose is, number 1, you have to recondition your workouts. So your fitness is solely looking at the physical. So you may ask yourself questions like, am I in a regular, consistent fitness routine? Do I practice intentional movement every day? How long have I been doing this, or how long has it been where I haven't been consistent? Okay, these are the type of questions that we want to look for and kind of define so you know what that looks like in your future. And the very first part of all of this, guys, is really defining your goals. What do you want to accomplish with your fitness, your health, your healing, your overall wellness? And then it's going to make these steps so much easier. So, for example, if you're someone who wants to lose weight or lose fat, because that's one of the most common things that we see as personal trainers that people are wanting to accomplish, then your workouts have to reflect that. You're going to have high intensity workouts. You're going to have to challenge yourself. You're going to have a level and a balance between strength training as well as cardio.
Yep, absolutely, guys. Nothing in life you can never get maximum benefits from without planning accordingly before you do so. So having a plan, having a very great understanding of what it is that you want to get out of something is always going to be very, very important. Now, guys, I hate to say it, but I'm just going to be honest with you here. This is the least important component of actually being healthy. Yes, you want to be active. Yes, you want to have movement in your life. But that doesn't mean that you need to have a vigorous training regimen every single day. These other things that we're going to get into are going to be significantly more important, but that physical side of things is always still going to play a component as well, especially when we're trying to do something like lose an abundance of weight or gain an abundance of muscle. Anything of that sort, or heck, even prepare yourself for an athletic season. You want to make sure that your conditioning levels and everything is there. But if I'm being honest with you, it's the least important factor of having a great overall level of health. So with that being said, let's jump into number 2 here, which is going to be the most important component of it, and that is going to be refueling your body with healthy foods. Things that are nutritional, or things that have a great abundance of nutrition, things that are replenishing for the body so that you're just not putting things in, but you're putting things in that's actually going to help your overall organ function. It's going to help the recovery aspect of what you're doing with your workouts, and it's also going to help you remain in a positive state of well-being, because you're not going to be putting a lot of things that are toxic in nature, that have a lot of saturated, transsaturated fats, things that can cause a negative hormonal reaction within the body and just put you in down spirits. So healthy food is not only good for being in conjunction with your workout, helping you meet your goals, keeping you at a proper balance so that you are more so at a caloric deficit, since, like Larissa mentioned, most people are trying to lose weight, so you want to be at a healthy caloric deficit and not just starving yourself. But having healthy foods within your diet every day, regardless of if you're working out to meet certain goals with your physical fitness, but just having a healthy level of, or a healthy set of, what's the word I'm looking for here? Just overall health. is what I'm trying to get at. Is just to be
Wellness.
healthy overall, your wellness overall, you need to have healthy foods in. And I would say this is going to be, like I said before, the most important component of everything. Because too, before I pass it to Larissa, if you're not putting good foods in that's going to help you feel good about working out and want to work out, where you're not feeling sick when you do so, then you're never going to be able to get much farther than where you are today already.
Yep, guys, 100% there, straightforward. Very generally speaking, we would define healthy foods as an abundance of vegetables, particularly low starch vegetables. So these are going to be your green leafy vegetables. These are also going to consist of things like bell peppers, broccoli, Brussels sprouts.
Alkaline foods.
Yes. Foods that are high in vitamins and minerals. Also fruits, guys, particularly low sugar fruits, if that's what you are focusing on. So low sugar fruits are things like apples, berries, peaches. Those are going to be things that you want to gravitate more towards. And of course, getting in the appropriate amount of water. So if you're really refueling your body with these healthy foods, things that you can ask yourself during this journey are, how does this food make me feel? Does this promote wellness? Is this going to get me closer to my goals? Pay attention to how it affects your digestion. Are you regular or not? Do you get tired or energized right after eating? These are going to be just strong signs to let you know if what you are eating and putting into your body is benefiting you the way that it needs to get the results that you're looking for.
Yeah, and last thing I want to add too, just a quick tidbit about how you can try to get those foods in, because I know a lot of people, when they start eating healthy, they don't immediately start eating vegetables. They have a lot of fruit, which is fine. It's low in calories. You're giving your body something that it can benefit from. But you really want to focus on kind of having a lot of your fruit intake in between your meals. So that way you're not overdoing it and you're keeping yourself in a caloric deficit, but you're still giving your body a good amount of nutrition. And then you want to try to have that a good setting of vegetables with every meal setting. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, or lunch and dinner if you're doing any intermittent fasting or anything of that nature.
Now guys, and the way that we would define a full meal here at Never Settle Fitness would be, if you can visualize a plate, half of your plate should be vegetables, particularly low starch vegetables. A fourth of your plate should be lean protein, whether that's animal or vegetable protein, and then that other fourth is going to be your starchy vegetables, so think things like sweet potatoes, okay? If you really picture that and can visualize what that looks like, then you're already on the right track, guys. Think foods that are just an abundance of colors and variety. You should really eat the rainbow. I know you probably have heard that saying before, but it's so true. The different colors really signify the different vitamins and minerals that are in those foods, and so we want to have a lot of variety and we want to have a lot of color in what we're eating.
Absolutely. So going into number 3 here, and I'll let you start this one off. And again, remember guys, the physical side is just gonna that's the fun part for a lot of us, like working out and pushing yourself. A lot of folks enjoy that, and that's what we consider, for us at least, to be the fun part. These other things we're talking about are a little harder to do, and they take a lot more of your focus. So food is gonna be the most important, and this next one here may be 3rd or 4th, depending on where you are and how you feel on day to day, depending on what you're doing in your everyday life. So you can go ahead and start with
guys,
number 3.
Number 3 is recharge with a good night's rest. Now, this is so important, and I know that we live in a society that preaches that you can sleep when you die. And that's a saying, like I said, that you probably have heard before, and it's a strong mentality here in America that you just work, and there's no rest. Guys, if you live up to that saying that you can sleep when you die, I can guarantee you that you might be dead a lot sooner than you would hope. Because when we sleep, when we get good quality, uninterrupted rest, our body heals. It's able to rejuvenate itself. And if we are not getting the appropriate quality hours of sleep every single night, this is going to wreak havoc on our bodies. This is going to cause long-term illness and disease, because if you are just abusing your body every day throughout the entire day and you're not giving it a chance to recover and heal, then it's just you're always starting the next day like 5 steps behind. And that gap is just going to keep growing larger and larger and larger until you are completely depleted, and then your body forces you to sit down and rest. And the way that your body may force you to sit down and rest is with, a common cold, illness, flu. And when we start to ignore the warning signs of those things, then that's really when we step into the chronic disease and illness territory. So guys, it's very important to get good night's rest. If you are not getting a good night's sleep, then you might want to ask yourself questions like, do I fall asleep quickly or not? When I do fall asleep, do I stay asleep? Or do I wake up frequently throughout the night? And if you do, why is that? We need to start defining the reasons why we're not getting good sleep, so then we can correct it. And some of the many different reasons why we don't get good rest, and maybe you can think of these things and apply it to your life and see if that is what is affecting your sleep. But obviously, guys, we live in a world of technology and it's huge. Turn off your cell phones, put down your computer, turn off the TV, whatever it is, at least an hour before you go to sleep, and create a calming and peaceful environment for you to actually get the rest that you need. Other things that are going to affect it is what we just talked about, what you're eating. So if you are eating a diet that is high in processed foods, and especially high in things like refined sugar and caffeine, then you most likely are not going to get a good night's rest. Every time we eat, regardless of the quality of food, you are going to spike your blood sugar and blood pressure levels. Now, depending on what you choose to eat, those levels will either drop drastically or they'll stay consistent throughout the day. Now, if you're eating these processed foods high in refined sugars or caffeine, you'll have a high spike and then they'll drop down really low very quickly. When you're on that high point, you won't be able to fall asleep. When you're on the low, you won't be able to stay asleep. Or you'll fall asleep quicker until it gets extremely low, and then you might wake up in the middle of the night craving sugar to raise those blood sugar levels back up. So guys, it's super important. It does matter, and you'll start to see, as I just pointed out, that these are all going to work with each other. It's kind of a domino effect. So when you can really define where you're struggling at in these areas the most, and you can correct those things, all the other items are going to fall in line and correct themselves.
Yeah, and like she mentioned a while ago, here in America, there's something that's very common. We're all trying to achieve our piece of that American dream. We want our cut of the pie, so we all think that we need to do more. We're in school, we're trying to work a job, we want to start a business, we have husbands, wives, we have children, so we're juggling so many things. And guys, it's kind of like the tortoise and the hare, right? Slow and steady wins the race. And if you watch movies or TV enough, which a lot of us probably have done over this past year due to the pandemic being in place and us just being stuck in our homes, but you kind of see these things played out within a lot of different movies and different scenarios of that nature, where you have someone who is, he's working his butt off as far as he's always there. He's first there. He's the first one there. He's the last one to leave, and he's always there trying to show his superiors that I'm worthy. I want this job promotion, or I'm capable. But then you notice over a while his work gets a little sloppy. He's doing too much too fast. He's not adapting at the proper pace that you would need to really be as successful in that job as you want to be, or as that your superior would need you to be. So then you have on the other side a person who is taking their time. They're working just as hard. They're just not forcing themselves to move too fast to where their body can't keep up with what they're trying to do. I always talk to clients about, I understand you have a lot of things on your plate. You have your kids, etc., all these things to worry about. But if you aren't in a good health, if you're not well rested, How could you possibly be at your best when you're performing to take care of your family or to get that cut of the pie? So making sure that your body is well rested, your brain's able to process information in a faster manner, in a healthier manner, to where you're making better decisions, to the point where you're not, spilling coffee over at the coffee station because you're just rushing through trying to do everything, and you don't have any sleep in your life. So you're just tired all the time, but you feel like you always have to go. Guys, settle down a bit. Take a step back. Allow your body to have all the things it needs so that you can perform at a more efficient level. I know you want to get there first, but sometimes it's not always about being first. It's about getting there and doing it the right way. Getting there in an efficient manner, like I just said before. So slow down, let your body rest, let your body catch up, and I promise you, guys, you will be a lot better for it. Your workouts will be a lot more better, they'll be a lot more purposeful, a lot more beneficial, a lot less sloppy. Your food habits, you'll start eating better, you'll be making better decisions there, you'll actually be able to process how that food is actually making you feel. Are you lethargic? Are you energized? What are you getting out of all of these things?
That's a good point, guys. If you're always tired, you can't really answer those questions that we went over for these other different categories, because if you're tired all the time, then it's very difficult to pinpoint, if something else is making you more tired or not. So guys, keep that in mind, and I would close this out by encouraging you, just as Nate went over, do not wear your burnouts as a badge of honor. Okay, like I said, I know society really just emphasizes just grinding it until you can't go anymore, but you will not be at your best, as Nate just explained, if you are not getting the rest that you need. So please, guys, rest when you can. If you can take a nap, if you're tired and you're able to lay down, lay down. Listen to your body. It gives us these signs for a reason. Do not try to push the limit when it comes to your sleep.
And going into number 4 here, and now these two here, you can look at, depending on where you are in life and how you feel, one could be 2, one could be 3, but food is always going to be first. But guys, number 4 is going to be renew your mind and spirit. And what we're talking about here is trying to keep your stress levels at a minimum, right? And even if you're not resting your body, you're adding to your stress levels, even if you know it or not. The less rest that you're giving your body, the more increase in stress that your body will start to endure. So guys, take some time to yourself. Read a book. Sit down for a minute. Do something that is going to be peaceful for you so that you can get away. Something that is healthy but still peaceful, where your body and your brain isn't working so much. You're kind of focused on one thing. You're kind of escaping all of those factors that does cause a high level of stress. Like those things I mentioned, going to school, trying to maintain a job, trying to start a business or run a business while you're in school and still working a job, being there for your family, being a supportive spouse, being a supportive mom or dad or whatever that looks like. But the only way you can do those things is if your body's well rested and you're giving yourself an opportunity to keep your stress levels down, so you're just not overwhelmed with the process of everything. Because if you are, again, the work's going to get sloppy. It's going to feel like it's all too much too soon, and you're not going to be able to reach that overall level of wellness that you started this journey for.
Yep, guys, and when you are thinking about what this means for you, I want you to ask yourself questions like, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, how would I rate my normal everyday stress levels over the past month or 2 months? Okay? And if you are at a 6 or over, then I would highly suggest that you make this a priority to get under control. So other things that you can do to help with your stress levels are going to be breathing exercises, prayer, meditation, essential oils, going on walks, spending time in nature. Working out is a huge stress reliever. Listening to music, and positive music, I should say, positive lyrics, and positive uplifting podcasts. These are all great ways that you can manage your stress levels. And out of all of these, points, this is definitely the one that provokes the most emotion from my clients. Because if you are someone who is at a 6 or higher, then you are probably completely burning yourself out. And oftentimes we'll have clients that come to us and they cry during this time, because when you really sit there and think about what's causing your stress levels, that can typically be pretty emotional. As Nate mentioned, when you get overwhelmed, that's going to be emotional, because you don't have any more to give. All right? When you've reached this point, you may be someone who gets irritated or cry easily about things that you typically wouldn't. Okay, so these are other things I want you to kind of ask yourself and say, do I identify with this, or do I do these things? And if you answer yes, then you need to address your stress levels and start to renew your mind and spirit. So, do I anger easily? Do I get irritated easily? Is my fuse a lot shorter than it typically would be, or do I get offended easier? These are all things that are huge signs that your stress levels are too high. Also, when you're doing daily activities, does the easiest thing in the world, such as just washing the dishes, does that feel like a chore to you? Ask yourself things like, does this bring me joy? Do I feel passion and purpose behind the things that I'm doing? And if the answer is no to that, then your stress levels are probably too high, guys. So again, this is going to look different for everybody, but those things that I just mentioned, prayer, meditation, reading a book, going out in nature, all those things that we just listed, pick 3 of those things. And it doesn't have to be something we listed. If you have something else, go ahead and drop it in the comments and let us know your idea of how you like to calm down and how you like to relax and create a stress-free environment. But pick 3 things. And out of those 3 things, one of them needs to be something that you can do at any time and any place. Because we know that when we're in a stressful situation, that we can't always, let's say, go on a walk. If you're in a meeting at work and it's a high stress environment, you can't just walk out, you might lose your job. So you need to pick one thing that you can do no matter the environment that you're in to decrease the stress levels right then and there. So that may be a breathing technique, or that might be a short prayer in your head. It needs to be something like that regardless of what's going on, that you can do it. And even if you are on the low end, guys, if you're at a 5 or under and you're like, hey, I'm not really stressed out, I don't need to do this, still pick 3 things and do them every day.
Yeah, maintain it, guys.
Yep.
Positive reinforcement. And I'm glad Larissa kind of touched on it when she said, reading scriptures. In our case, we believe in Jesus Christ, so a lot of people have a lot of different beliefs out there, but that is another thing that we mean by spirit, having that time for some more that's positive reinforcement, where you're taking some time, you're shutting everything down, and you're doing some beneficial reading and something that you believe in, something that does calm your spirit down. So guys, take some time to do that. We like to do that for ourselves, like to shut the things down and try to do some good reading and, and just, talk about it as we go through it, try to see what is this actually saying, but we're escaping everything and we're trying to find that inner peace so that our stress levels are at an all-time low. At least, and then guys, like she said, for the ones who are at a 5 and under and you don't feel this really applies to you, well, it does apply to you because you want to maintain that and not end up on that other side.
Yeah, guys, and with your stress levels, we always encourage you guys, there's 2 different types of stress. There are stresses that you can control and stresses that you can't control. Obviously, if you can control it, do. Those are situations like, maybe planning an event or hosting a gathering. Whatever it may look like, those are things that you can plan and prepare for in advance. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait till the last second. That is going to be a high stressor, okay? You can avoid certain situations by how you plan and prepare for them, and also how you just deal with those things accordingly, right? Giving yourself enough time to accommodate whatever you're doing. Now, the things that you cannot control, let's say the death of a loved one, or divorce. Maybe you're going through a super high traumatic situation that, you know, maybe you've exhausted all your resources and at this point it's out of your control, it is what it is. You need to go back to those things that we mentioned and learn how to respond to these negative or stressful situations so you don't reach that high 10 level, or you're not stuck at it like 8 to 10 for months or for years. And you know, some of you guys may think that that's crazy, but most of you are walking around at an 8 to a 10, and you have been for many, many years. And you have just suppressed these emotions, and you're just, you know, adapting to it, but you're not really living. Guys, stress can kill you. It can absolutely kill you. It's so important to get this under control and to implement these things into your life on a daily basis, regardless of what your stress levels look like now, because it can kill you. When you are under high amounts of stress, your body releases certain hormones that are not conducive for losing weight. It's not conducive for overall and long-term health and longevity. So you need to be sure to manage these things correctly, because our bodies were created to deal with stress, but only for very, you know, short periods of time. We're talking about little splurts throughout the day or the month where, you know, maybe you have a deadline due at work, okay? Our bodies can handle that. It can handle that for the month. It can't handle it for months on end. It's not made or equipped to do that. Our bodies are not engineered that way. So please, guys, take it seriously. It does matter. And just like all these other things that we talked about, if you don't, your body is going to be at a high risk of disease and illness. It's just the way that the body works. It can only take on so much. And if you don't have a release for that stress, it's just going to keep building up and building up and building up and getting worse. And it literally builds up inside the body. I mean, you may notice certain places in your body where you hold stress at, right? We use that terminology a lot. For me, it's in my neck and shoulders. And when I put myself in high stressful environments, I literally go like this. And I know a lot of you probably do that as well. And then, you know, you wake up and your neck hurts, or you literally have physical knots that you can feel in your body. Those are stress tension knots. They're real, they exist, and they're not going to go anywhere unless you address them. They're just going to keep getting worse.
Well said. Number 5.
Number 5, guys. All right, last but not least here, you need to recover to get to that next level. So pretty straightforward here. When you're doing all these other things that we've talked about, there is going to be a component of recovery. This is similar to recharging with a good night's rest, but not completely the same thing. Our idea of recovering is going to be in forms of working on your overall mobility and range of motion. When you do not take your body through the full range of motion that it is capable of, and you do that over a period of time, your range of motion will actually shorten. And you see this a lot in the elderly, where they're not able to lift their arms over their head, they're not able to sit down in a chair and stand back up again without assistance. This is all a part of the recovery process. Even bending down and touching your toes. I want you guys to actually try that now. And let us know in the comments if you can stand up, keep your legs straight with just a slight bend in the knees, and touch your toes. And if you can't, then this is going to be a component that you really need to address, because you are not recovering well. You are not lengthening your muscles and putting them in the positions that they need to be so you can have full mobility.
Yeah, guys, absolutely. I talk about this in numerous amounts of videos. I go over it with my clients as well. And I always like to use this guy that is a super big hit down here in the Tampa Bay area by the name of Tom Brady, and how he puts a huge emphasis on things like pliability, where he's taking a lot of his time, instead of working out and lifting heavy weights, but he's doing exercises that are lengthening his muscles. So not only is he able to accept blows on the field and not tighten up, where his body and his muscles and everything are absorbing this contact and then they're tightening, causing him to be at more of a risk of injury, but he's kind of bouncing off of these defenders. He's not enduring as much impact because his body, his muscles are loose enough to be able to take these things on and then not tighten up and possibly get hurt a few plays later. But guys, allowing your body to actually lengthen your muscles out, giving them a better chance to respond to your workouts is what we mean when we say recover to get to that next level. You can get to a point where in your training that, yes, you're getting great workouts in, but you're taking no time to do proper recovery stretches and exercises, that your muscles just can't respond the way that you need them to keep making those gains. You're not allowing that broken down muscle to be able to recover and build itself up to get bigger and stronger from those sets you did the day before. So taking some time to really focus on lengthening your muscles, giving your body proper range of motion so that you can move and function the way that the body was intended to. So like, you should be able to touch your toes. You should be able to put your hands up and get your arms back to at least your ear level. But so many people in everyday life right now can't do those things. We see it all the time. I see people struggle that they drop their wallet on the ground. They can't just squat down, keeping their heels to the floor without raising up on their toes and feeling pressure within their knees. They feel so tight, their body feel achy. Like Larissa mentioned, with those stress balls, those knots where your body is just very constricted. Your muscles are so tight, they're creating these balls of stress within them because you're not properly allowing that lactic acid to be released. When you break your muscles down with your workouts, you're releasing lactic acid within the body, and that has to go somewhere. So if you're not taking time to stretch, lengthen your muscles out, give your body the opportunity to recover properly, then you're never going to be able to get to that next level. I'm not saying you're not going to be able to work out and feel good about being able to go to the gym, but those changes you want to continue to see will come to a screeching halt if you don't make this a serious part of your training regimen.
But guys, when we say get to that next level, you know, I think a lot of you may sit there and be like, well, I'm not trying to like compete in the Olympics or anything. That just means the next level for you. So maybe that is competing in the Olympics, but maybe it just means that you want to be able to get on the ground and play with your grandchildren and get back up again.
Maybe it means that you don't want to have aches and pains within your knees, your lower back, your elbows, and any other joint that you may be experiencing because you think that there's something else, but it could be your muscles are just so tight that they're pulling on those ligaments and you're not able to move the way that your body wants to, so it's causing your joints to have to take on a lot of this, and it can be painful. Excuse me. But a lot of people talk about it where they have a lot of sharp pain within the knee and they don't know where it comes from. But it's because if I go and I tap and I touch their quad or their IT band here, it's as tight as a rock. It's solid, it's hard, and it shouldn't be that way.
It should have some give to it.
Yeah,
right?
like I mentioned with Tom Brady, there should be give there. You should be able to, you know, it should be softer.
And it you know, it shouldn't be so soft that we're talking about like an overaccumulation of fat or, you know, lack of muscle. But there should be a little bit of a spring motion.
Should be some give.
It shouldn't just be like you touch it and like you hurt your knuckles when you do. And guys, we see so many people like this. But when I really think of what the true definition of physical health is, it's not necessarily what you look like or how much weight you can lift. It's the health of your spine. How do you move? And if you are someone that feels like maybe you're struggling in this category, some questions I want you to ask yourself, as Nate mentioned, do I have pain in my joints? Do I feel stiff or achy? How do I get out of bed in the morning? Do I feel good when I get up? Do I have to roll out of bed? How long does it take me to feel like I can stand upright when I do get out of bed? Can I touch my toes? Can I get my arms up nice and straight by ear level? Can I do these things? And if the answer is no, or whatever that may be, defining how you feel, then you need to address this in the form of stretching, both static and dynamic. And I think we did this in another video, but dynamic stretching should always go before your workout. When your muscles are cold, that's how you warm them up. Static stretching goes after your workout. That's how you cool down. Yoga is a good form of this, all right? It's a combination of some stretching, strength movements, meditation, this is a great way to recover. Also things like foam rolling, massages, essential oils. These are also fantastic ways to recover. Epsom salt baths, ice baths. We used to do that back in the day. You know, if you're an athlete, that's what they used to do with us. Even like heat therapy, right? That kind of goes along with the bath, right? Most people don't take cold baths unless they are athletes or they're doing it for a very specific reason like that. If you're just someone that's wanting to relax, typically you're going to take a warm or hot bath. This is a form of like hot therapy. Hot or cold, do what feels best for what you're focusing on at that time. But guys, these are all things that you can do to recover. And there's so many more things as well, but really developing a routine. And I think that's where we're getting with all of this, is that it all comes down to having a plan and developing a routine that is realistic for your schedule and that is maintainable long term.
It's giving you purpose.
Yep, it's
You're
giving
doing
you
all
purpose.
these things not just to do them, but to achieve something greater.
Yep, and they all work together, guys. They all work together. So I hope that this made sense for you. This is how you can train with purpose and live the never settle way. And when you do all these things, as we said, it's a domino effect and everything just starts working for you instead of against you, you're guaranteed to get results. Okay? You're going to get results.
It's impossible not to.
Yep.
Regardless, again, it may not always come in what you can see physically and with your eyes, but it's going to be more so, how do you feel internally? How do you feel? Because I always tell people, I know you want to look good today, but you still want to feel good later. So that's why we train the way we do. We take all of these factors into consideration when it comes to your limitations, your fears, and just things that we don't want to overwhelm you or underwhelm you with. We want to provide the best experience possible as your professional personal trainer.
Yep. And if you're tired of just working out, if you're tired of being that person just walking around aimlessly without a plan, you don't know what to do or what true health, fitness, or healing actually looks like, then please hit us up, guys. In the description, you will find that you can try us out and really learn what it means to train with purpose by encompassing all these 5 different components of wellness into your life with our 7-day free trial. It's the best and most affordable way that you can get your health and wellness in the place that you really want it, but also need to have it, guys. So you can hit up that 7-day free trial in the in the description, and just click on that at checkout. Use the discount code 7-day trial, and you will not be charged a thing for your first 7 days. You can cancel at any time. It's 100% risk-free. And if you're still on the fence and you're like, I don't really know, I don't know about this, I know I need help, but I don't really know what I want to do about it, then check out our reviews and our recommendations on Google, on Facebook. You can even check out Yelp, although I don't think we have as many on there. But Google and Facebook are typically the best ways that you can really see what others have to say about us who were in the same position that you are right now, but now they are in a better position and a better state of health and wellness because of the tools that we were able to give them, guys. And we don't want you to be dependent on us. We want you to learn these things and incorporate them into your life. And I mean, really educate and learn these things so you can pass it on to your children and they can pass it on to theirs, and we can really change the world and what that looks like for our overall health. So,
yep. And guys, again, risk-free, and ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? Again, just try it out, look at it, read it. But again, you have to start somewhere. If you're asking yourself those questions, then at some point it's time to act on it. Put some action behind that thought or the words, and actually, let's get this started. Let's begin to train with a purpose.
yes, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We love you guys, and you can catch us here every Tuesday at 2:00 p.m. for your weekly dose of Trainer Talk Tuesday. Until next week, never give up,
Never lose hope, and
never settle.
All right, guys, see you back here, same time, same place, and have a great rest of your week. And if you haven't been having a good day so far, hopefully we just made it better.